Do you want to learn how to reopen summer camp after COVID-19? COVID has changed many things, including how to run a summer camp safely. We're going to outline how summer camps can open safely and keep kids safe and COVID-free. We'll talk about how to conduct a thorough risk assessment and how to migrate to digital summer camp forms. Finally, we will talk about maintaining a safe and healthy environment through cleaning procedures and communication. Hi, I'm Markeisha. Let's get started. The COVID pandemic has made us approach how we do things socially in a whole new way, especially because we really don't know how long it will last. With all these new rules and safety regulations, many things have changed. For summer camps, they have had to switch their data collection, tracking, and organization processes from an in-person process to one online. This has caused a lot of extra planning that summer camps need to do. They are, after all, responsible for children's safety and well-being. Let's take a look at some new measures that summer camps are doing to ensure children's safety. The first step is mapping out all the interactions and activities that campers will have daily throughout their time at camp. For example, a typical day may include things like getting dropped off, going to classes, having a snack, playing games, and socializing with friends on the playground. Any activities where a large number of people gather, in this case campers, can make it easier for bacteria and viruses like the COVID-19 virus to spread. If the camps are overnight, this becomes even more complex and important. The goal of looking at each interaction a camper might run into is to identify the amount of risk activities may have to mitigate the spread of COVID. Activities can be labeled low risk, medium risk, and high risk. For example, if campers bring their own lunch and don't share it, all the while eating it with a small group of campers, these are low-risk activities. However, if campers are riding on a bus with 50 other kids and going to Chuck E. Cheese for a day-long field trip, that would be considered high risk. One thing that can help limit exposure is switching to digital summer camp forms. This is one of the best and easiest ways to make this digital shift. These forms are versatile and affordable. On the screen, you can see just 5 forms that are easy to convert. Let's take a look at each one. In the past, most of us have gone to register for summer camp in person with paper forms and pens. Not such an easy task when people have to stay 6 feet away from each other. Even the same people using the same pens could be a safety issue. Because of this, camps have turned to digital forms to collect registration data. The use of online registration forms now means camps can collect general camper information, accept payments, gather e-signatures from parents, and more. The forms can be built in seconds and are easy to share via the web or email. Additionally, online forms, like Jotform, are full of valuable built-in features. You can dictate the design and add things like widgets, a PDF editor, or even a report builder. These online registration forms make it simple to shift from in-person data collection to online. This makes it easier to track and organize camper information with ease. Another form needed at most camps is a medical form. Medical forms help to keep campers safe. For example, you need to know if any of the kids have serious allergies and inform counselors and staff of the situation. Summer camp staff can create a medical form from scratch if they need to, but many templates are available. These forms gather emergency contact information, allergy details, dates of immunizations, medication lists, insurance data, and more. Much of this data is personal, so camps can put security measures in place and use HIPAA-compliant online forms that ensure everything is kept private and secure. A valuable tool today, COVID-19 self-screening forms come in handy for in-person summer camp activities. By self-screening campers, counselors, and staff, you can ensure that participants are reporting their health status every morning before heading to camp. This helps to identify COVID symptoms early and helps slow the spread of the virus. These forms ask if the participant has been exposed to the virus in the last 14 days and if they're experiencing any symptoms like a cough or fever. They also ask for a signature stating that what has been reported is true. By using online COVID self-screening forms, camp leaders can quickly evaluate camper and staff health, working to keep everyone safe. Let's look at another form. While one of the main points of camp is to have fun, it's important to cover all your bases. There are times when campers can accidentally hurt themselves and others. Using an activity waiver form is one of the best ways to cover these mishaps. These forms should be fairly easy to fill out. They can be sent to parents and guardians electronically. An electronic form is easy to store and access rather than try to do so with cumbersome paper forms and filing systems. The forms ask for contact information should something happen. They also acknowledge terms and conditions and require an e-signature. Camp administrators can keep the form on file should something happen. Now we're going to cover our last form. Feedback forms are one of the best tools to improve the overall experience of your camps. You can use feedback forms for basically anything, but they are really a useful tool to get campers, parents, and staff thoughts on their experience at camp. To encourage people to fill the whole thing out, these forms should ask relatively few questions. Why are these forms so important today? As camps are reopening with different processes and procedures than pre-COVID camps, it's good to know how the changes are affecting everyone and how things can be improved. So now you have moved all your forms online and mapped out the interactions a kid is likely to experience at camp. What are some other ways you can keep people safe? You can start with implementing and enforcing strict cleaning procedures. Examples include creating cleaning checklists for all venues, making sure all rooms are cleaned on a regular basis, ideally at least a couple of times per day, sanitizing shared objects after each use, making sure all restrooms are cleaned and have antibacterial soap and water to promote proper hand washing, educating campers, especially younger ones, on proper hand washing etiquette through posters in the restrooms and throughout the camp, as well as on your camp's social media accounts. Also, you're not going to be able to keep campers 6 to 10 feet apart at all times, but there still is plenty of logistics you can prepare to keep everyone safe. Some good practices include stock up on personal protective equipment, or PPE, for all camp personnel, including face masks, gloves, disinfectants, etc. Discourage or limit the use of shared dining halls and big gathering spaces. Opt for outdoors activities whenever possible. Have campers bring their own lunches and discourage meal sharing. Hand out individually wrapped snacks and meals instead of relying on buffets or self-serve. Pay attention to any food allergies when buying and handing out snacks. Finally, you can concentrate on keeping good communication. Whether you're explaining how you plan to keep kids safe, or you're planning what to do if a camper gets COVID, there's a lot to plan around communication. The general rule is to plan for the worst, but hope for the best. One thing you're going to want is a thorough contact tracing system. At the very least, you should have some database of contact information for all camp employees and the families of campers. Should anyone come into close contact with someone who has COVID, you can quickly notify the appropriate people. Additionally, you should build out a contingency and crisis communication plan. This is where you have thought out all the what-if scenarios that probably won't actually happen. In the unlikely event that one should happen, you have a plan already in place. Here are some contingency plans you should put in place. Ask yourself, what happens if an employee or camper gets COVID-19? What happens if an employee or camper was in close contact with someone who has COVID-19? What happens if an employee or camper is hospitalized for an extended period of time? What happens if an employee or camper dies from COVID-19? What happens if there's a widespread outbreak and 50% or more of campers and employees test positive for COVID-19? What happens if the camp has to close down for the rest of the season? It is probably best to appoint one employee as head of communications. They will be accountable for all messaging that goes out. It's always good to also designate a backup. When running summer camps during COVID, a thorough plan and easy-to-use tech tools can help keep everybody safe. Let's review what we learned. We talked about a lot of tips to help things run smoothly. We looked at conducting a thorough risk assessment, migrating to digital summer camp forms, tips for maintaining a safe and healthy environment with cleaning procedures, camper logistics, and communication. Once again, I'm Markeisha, and I thank you for watching. See you next time.